it going, YouTube? Today is a pretty exciting video in my opinion because I finally found a support gem in Path of Exile that is kind of overpowered. Like, I do know that they nerfed all of the support gems and most of the support gems are pretty trash now compared to before. But this one support gem is the exception, and it is actually crazy how broken it is because of that one support gem, I'm now using dual claws instead of using my sword. I did sell my Shaper sword for 55 exalts. So I crafted one claw on stream today, and then I bought this other one for 27 exalts. And the support gem, if you guys don't know about it, is actually called Nightblade. This one right here. It's like a 3-in-1 support gem. I'm going to go over why it's so broken later on. But as of now, I am playing dual claws, and I did kind of mention it in the pub and the video yesterday about how claws are kind of just overpowered in general because you get 46 leech on each enemy hit by attacks, and just another 46, so you have plus 92 every time you hit. And then this Watcher's Eye that I spent a fortune on, like 40x, is only plus 29, so I pretty much get the benefit of the Watcher's Eye while using claws and getting the implicit 46 for free. So overall, if you add it all up together, it's 92 plus 29, which is 111 life back for each enemy hit. So that means that I usually attack like 20 times a second. Oh wait, it's actually faster than that because of multi-strike, right? So in the end, you attack super fast, and you're pretty much leeching like 2,000 HP back per second. And then I also have Vault Pact, and it also allows me to drop some of these nodes right here, so I can go and get these claw nodes that have the leech built in. So I'm going to go over the build and gear overview, then I'm going to talk about Nightblade and why you should probably be playing a claw build if your skill can actually use it, because the skill is just that broken. So let's get into the build and gear overview. And yeah. Today was a day that we actually made a lot of changes to the build. Usually a lot of times I make a video and there's really not that much change that happens to the character. I do believe that this is probably one of the fastest characters I've ever played today, minus like playing Vault Fireball back in the day. But having a world speed with blitz charges is just something you have to try it to believe it. A lot of people also ask me why Berserker instead of Raider. Well, the answer is that you get blitz charges, which gives you 40% more attack speed, which is a multiplier. And then you also get rage, and then you also get 40% more damage. Raider is probably slightly tankier, but you just can't beat the damage scaling from Berserker. Berserker probably comes out to around like 30 to 40% more damage. And yeah, I mean, you also get some life nodes at the start. It's a little bit of traveling, but you do get a jewel socket, so it's not the worst thing in the world. I also found a new home for my Glorious Vanity. A lot of people are saying, oh, I was wasting all those points on the side here. But now it's all gone. It's pretty much just... I'm pretty much just playing a Raider, except I have all these nodes at the start. So basically, the Glorious Vanity is here now. I did buy a Global Crit Chance one, and this one's actually pretty good. So you get Immortal Ambition, which I mentioned in the last video as being the most OP unique jewel you could possibly use for melee. And then I somehow got Might of the Vol, which gives you plus 8% attack speed and block and attack block. And this node is actually pretty good if you don't have the Glorious Vanity in here. It's actually Art of the Gladiator, which is actually insane, but it is what it is. You will change this if you put the Glorious Vanity here. I could put the Glorious Vanity here. Some people were mentioning it in the last video, but you can see all of these life nodes at the start now are just complete trash, so that's why you don't put it over there. So basically, this is probably the best spot to put it in, and you also gain some benefits. So what do I get? I get 4% max life, which is really good. I get 1% block, some lightning damage, cold res, increased effect of curses, and mana regen. So this node could probably be a lot better. Like if I felt like min-maxing the character, I would probably divine a lot of Glorious Vanities. Or if you don't want to divine it, you can buy it and then test it out. And if you don't like it, just sell it for like 1 or 2 chaos below. And you'll pretty much instantly sell it. But basically, let's get into the gear real fast. So this is the claw I made. It's actually called Brimstone Barb Imperial Claw. Fun story time is that Brimstone Barb used to be the #1 foil on standard, and it's probably one of the most mirrored foils ever made. So it's actually kind of cool that it's that name. I didn't know that it was actually that name until I looked at the claw more closely. So this is a pretty simple craft. I'll probably drop a video with a more detailed explanation about how to exactly craft this claw, because it's actually really easy to craft. I think it took me around like 50 exalts total. So basically, TLDR is you fracture Merciless, and then you use Jagged Fossils to get flaring with pretty much any hybrid roll. And then if you don't have a hybrid roll, you annul until you have an open prefix. So you craft on suffix. Prefixes cannot be changed, and then use the harvest to reforge Fizz to get a hybrid roll. And if you get like any T5 or higher, you would just settle with it. And then after that, the suffixes are pretty easy. You craft on prefixes cannot be changed. Reforge speed is a 1 in 8 chance to get T1 attack speed. And then after that, you buy all crit to get crit multi, which is guaranteed. And then you craft on crit chance quality. So overall, even though it seems like the claw is insane, it's actually not that bad to craft yourself. It just takes a little bit of time. But you actually do not need to actually interact with TFT that much, so that's the good part about it. Now, this helm is different, right? In the last video, if you remember, this helm actually had rarity on it. So what I did was I crafted on suffixes cannot be changed, and then I gambled with the Ashley. And I prayed to Chris Wilson, and Chris Wilson rewarded me by taking off the rarity and then giving me hybrid life. So this pretty much brings the helmet to like pseudo T1 life. And then I just crafted on the strike range again. If I wanted to slightly improve my defenses, I would probably craft on like Fizz taken as cold or fire, I think, because that's actually available if you unveil it. So right now, this amulet, I have a different anointment. I'm using Panopticon. So what this means is that it increases the effect of your ancestral totems. But the problem with this is it's not as consistent overall because it relies on you to have your totems down the whole time. So if you're mapping Primeval Force or Mark for Death is better. So Mark for Death gives you culling against a marked enemy. And then this one here, Primeval Force, is just some 40% wed and then 5% pen. So both of those are other good options if you don't want to use Panopticon and be reliant on totems the whole time. The rings are unchanged. I will probably buy better rings because the rings are probably my worst part of my character. This ring does have a lot of resists, but yeah. And this ring just has some dead mods on it. It has rarity and lightning damage on it, so that's not very good. Now, this pair of gloves I actually crafted. A lot of people always mention you should get Strike additional 2 nearby enemies so you can anoint something else besides Tribal Fury. Now, having Strike 2 additional enemies is actually a massive clear speed increase. When I include some of the footage for the map clears for this build, you can pretty much instantly see how much better it is with Tribal Fury. So Tribal Fury, then Tribal Fury. Tribal Fury is only 1 additional. This is 2 additional. The way you craft this item is I pretty much just awaken orb to get an elevated hunter, which is strike 2 additional. So I Maven orb to base myself. Got 2 additional, and then I pretty much just found a spike shaper gloves with any shaper mod. I try to keep on blind on hit, but however it didn't work out. So I just got lucky. I got this, and I just decided to multi-mod it to get life and attack speed, as that's pretty much as good as it's gonna get. So you can see I pretty much have 2 items now that I have to divine. And usually divining items, you kind of want to use Harvest because Harvest lucky divines are just incredibly OP. And you're pretty much going to spend a fortune to try to divine these items to perfection. And then this belt is the same and this boots is the same. I still haven't found the money to craft on Cannot Be Frozen. But I'm still thinking about if I should recraft this pair of boots and try to get Onslaught on kill since I'm not using an Onslaught flask currently. So lots of different changes I can make. But Onslaught on kill means I wouldn't get Cannot Be Chilled, which would be pretty bad. So there's always that problem. And trying to get the pen enchant on the boots again is kind of annoying. So overall, the tree is incredibly different. We are using claws now. And the main thing is you pretty much drop all the sword nodes that we had before. And then we have the sword nodes here. And then pretty much just convert it all into the claw nodes up here. So the claw nodes are mostly just one wheel. This wheel is actually incredible. You have 40%. Oh, I already have blind enemies on critical strike. So this is actually a huge survivability boost. I had no idea Claws did this. I have no idea why I was trying to awaken orb to get her blind. That's just a really dumb mistake. So Claws of the Magpie is also good, 10% attack speed, and these nodes are the Leech's Life, and Leech's Mana, and it also gives increased recovery rate, so I drop Vitality Void. And then you also have some multi nodes and some attack speed nodes, so then there's some more claw multi and crit chance nodes. So overall, the tree is pretty efficient, right? Like, yeah, we're traveling a far ways away, but we're really not wasting that many travel points mindlessly traveling. There's always a point of doing it. Like down here, you get Fangs of Frost, you get Twin Terrors for dual wield crit. Eventually, I will drop some of the medium clusters or drop some points on a tree to go for medium clusters that give me crit chance and double damage and move speed. So overall, you can see the tree is relatively done at this point. I don't really think I can improve it that much further. If anyone actually sees any improvements, please let me know. Because I do want to make like a pretty detailed guide for this build, because I do think that this build has very high potential. I actually do not think it's possible to die on this build as long as you don't get one-shotted because of the incredible leech you have. I'm pretty sure you pretty much regenerate like 3,000 life per second just based on as long as you're able to attack. So that's the tree, and I'm going to talk about now why claws are actually even more powerful than you might think. So this is the support gem that changed my whole idea of how this build should be played. And I didn't know that there could be a support gem this broken, because right now I can't get elusive because my boots are Shaper and Hunter, so you can't get it unless it's Redeemer. So what this means is that you're able to get elusive whenever you crit, and then the elusive also has 40% increased effect of elusive from supported skills, and you can actually get the alternate quality that gives even more elusive effect. So that means that your elusive is much, much stronger. That means your move speed is much higher on this build. Now, a nice trick with Nightblade is when you use Withering Step on left click, when you this pretty much resets the elusive, right? Every 3 seconds. So you're always able to have like max elusiveness, because every time you attack, when you have Withering Strike, it removes the elusive. That means your elusive will always be around like 130 to 100% effect, rather than it being degenerating all the way down to 0% effect. So that's why Nightblade is super nice with Withering Blades. The character feels incredibly fast, and it makes the sword character look like a complete joke. So not only do you get elusive, so that's the first part about the jewel, you also get 1.1% critical strike chance while elusive. The way this skill scales is at level 21, somehow you just get 1.1%. It's just a huge breakpoint, I guess. So level 21 is incredibly beneficial on the skill. So critical strike support gem is 2% only. So Nightblade support already is around more than half of a critical strikes gem, right? But not only that, you also get 140% multi when you have elusive. Like, I don't know what they were doing when they made the skill gem and why people weren't using it before. I heard it got buffed or something. But let's just say, do they have a change log here? I don't think they do on this website. But 140%. You want to see what increased crit damage support gem is? It's 138%. So this one component of the Nightblade support gem is better than the crit damage support gem. It's half a critical strike support gem. And then it also gives you elusive from the Assassin's Ascendancy. So this skill gem is literally 2 skill gems in one, 2 support gems. And that means that Claws and Daggers outshines any ability if you can use it both. If any skill can use Claws or Swords, you would always choose the Claw to play. And same as if you could choose Daggers or another weapon. And the sad fact is that Claws are just that powerful. Claws are probably the best weapon type in the game, and people don't really know about it because everyone's been enamored with swords for so long, as it has been the meta. But even without accounting for Nightblade, Claws actually beat out swords a lot of times, just because it's a little bit more efficient because all the nodes are together. Because even before I put in the Nightblade support gem, the Claws actually ended up with more damage on Pob. And just to show you how crazy Nightblade is, when you take out this gem, so let's see how much more damage a Nightblade is than the other support gem. So Nightblade is more damage than Elemental Focus. It's a lot more than like even crit damage gem. And that's because it's crit capped right now. But you can see when I turn off Nightblade, how big of a difference is it? It goes from 9.9 million to 13.7 million. And that's just an incredible gem. also gives you incredible tankiness because if you look at the calculator, you're at 84k, 192k effective EHP. I don't know if you can see it down here. And I don't have the resist capped out because I didn't allocate the Glorious Vanity correctly. So 192k EHP, right? And that's with elusive up. You take off elusive. But where's elusive? Oh yeah, here. You can see it goes all the way down to 115k. So Nightblade is incredible. The movement speed 182% with elusive up. Wait, this thing changed and flip-flopped again. So it's at 261%, and then this is at 192k EHP. So it's an incredible skill gen, especially if you use it with Withering Step. So that's why Claws with this under the radar gem is probably the best weapon type in the game currently. And it also gives you 46 life gain on hit, right? So a lot of people want like the Vitality Watcher's Eye. But with Claws, it means that you don't actually need to worry about that because you pretty much have more than the support gem or the Vitality Watcher's Eye. So let's actually see, why is Nightblade so broken? Did they change something to this skill? Oh, Nightblade. That's kind of weird. They just buffed the hell out of the support gem. So in 3.15, the great nerfing, they decided to ramp up the skill and buff it to a different dimension. So I don't think people noticed that well. Not that many people on PoE Ninja use Nightblade besides Vol Lightning Strike people or Lightning Strike players. So if you can find a way to use Nightblade and your skill allows you to use Claws, you should probably try it out. It is that broken, and I actually love how much better this build has become from using the support gem. It feels much faster and is much, much tankier because of your leech.
Just like the street lights lit this town, like a fire in a blaze, gotta burn it down. Can't be afraid to leave this out. We got this far, don't know how. I see danger in your eyes. They know we'll burn down the night. Coming just like the sunrise. You know that we're gonna light it up tonight. We're gonna light it up tonight. We're gonna light it up just like the sunrise. We're gonna light it up. Just like a spark that's breaking out. Can't make a stop, can't turn back now. We know that there's no room for doubt. No, we can't turn back now. I see danger in your eyes. They know we'll burn down the night. Coming just like the sunrise. You know that we're gonna light it up tonight. We're gonna light it up tonight. We're gonna light it up just like the sunrise. We're gonna light it up.
Pretty much just showcase a little bit of mapping for everyone to see, and you can definitely see how much faster this character is. Having dual wield bonus is nice. I was using a shield before, but I decided to drop it because I think the life gain on hit is just better, and there's just so much more damage going dual wield to be able to get the dual wield twin terror nodes, and you can also get the 10% more damage multiplier. The resists are a little bit lower, but I am going to try to get a +1 Eternity Shroud, or I'm going to try to get a +2 projectile, +1 Eternity Shroud is probably the best you can get for this build because you get +2 on Frostblades, right? So overall, character has come a long way. I will try to fear tomorrow and a lot more bossing, and you should see that it's vastly improved. The character is miles faster, is miles tankier because of the leech, and the damage is also much higher, probably like 40% more damage from my old Pob. So this is like the fun part of PoE, right? Is trying to optimize the character so you can see how far the character can come, even if it's not an aura stacker. And that's the point of these build diary videos. Not only is it like kind of fun to see how I built the character, but it's also fun to see like how you can change the build so much and slowly make the build better and better. And you can also tailor the build for like what you want to do. Like later on, when I want to get #1 PoE Ninja DPS, I might just be playing Glacial Hammer with full conversion. But for now, I just wanted to make a pretty good mapping character because I do think that people should try out Frostblades. You don't need to actually be limited to only Frostblades. You can try out Wild Strike too. Because I do think that this archetype is incredibly strong and it does have a place in today's meta. This is probably one of the fastest clearing builds for mapping I've personally seen in a while. And just playing it, it's probably the fastest build I've personally played outside of Vol Fireball and maybe like a Super Juice Winter Orb build. But thanks for watching, everyone. If you want to check out the character in action, I do stream every day on Twitch. And I hope you find more mirrors and exalts than I do. And see you next time. Bye.